Do the Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers, and Seattle Seahawks really have to run through the Arizona Cardinals? Can we take them seriously when they make comments like that in the media? Is it Cardinals versus the world, and can they hold up their end of the bargain, Johnny Venerable?
Plus, the show debut of two Arizona Cardinal rookies, Chase Bisontis and Karson Sharar, join the show. What do they have to say about Carson, Beck, Jeremiyah Love, and more? PHNX Cardinals in studio starts now. Welcome in live and in studio. It's PHNX Cardinals on a Football Friday, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable in the flesh with my dear friend, co-host Bo Brock. We got Noah Man behind the Mack today. A banner show on a Friday with a couple card draft picks around the corner, chopping it up. Chase Bisontis, Karson Sharar. I can't wait. Can't wait to dive in on a Football Friday, Bo.
Yeah, it's great when we catch up with these two first-year players. And let me say, Johnny is going to be the one on your screen that's on the right.
Should we switch?
No, the left. It's gonna be tough to decipher between Chase Bisontis and Johnny. We're on the screen at the same time.
We're the same. We're brothers. We look identical. He's a large man.
He is.
We knew he was big. We knew it would be a bit before he got here. And then even I was overwhelmed by how big of a human being he is. Like I can already say he's going to be a good player.
Feel that way, right? What's up to everybody in the chat? I see you, Mac Daddy, Jack. We've got rocker vocalist AZ, Mondo. Always good to see you, my guy. Got how about let's scroll down. Let's see the rest of the great people in the chat. Brian. We've got Andy, Brain Dead Steel, Jacob, New Jersey Cardinal. Everybody's locked and loaded. Let's give a hello to our friend Shaff, who's abroad. He's been trying to check in. We miss you, my man. But check out the shows when you get back. I don't want you to get in trouble, maybe tuning in when you shouldn't be.
Yeah. They got different rules over there. Accommodate yourself to the culture. Is he in Japan?
I believe China.
China, okay. Yeah. Shaft, check in. Let us know you're safe. Blink twice. We appreciate everybody locking in here. We got two great interviews that we're going to show.
If they're beating on the door, put your laptop away.
Karson Sharar and Chase Bisontis, 6th rounder and 2nd rounder, respectfully, are going to join the show a little bit later on. We're going to talk about Jeremiyah Love. We're going to talk about Carson Beck. We're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals and their proposition for this year and how we feel about where this team is headed. And I think you look at the landscape of the NFL, and I saw this earlier today, like this Mack Wilson Sr. quote that we're going to dive into. It's kind of old news. It happened a couple days ago, and if you know Mack, it was just him being his authentic self. But then when it got kind of regurgitated today by Adam Schefter, and it's like, oh, I see what you're doing. Kind of combing for clicks there, Shefty. I didn't love the optics of it. But I think a greater conversation can be had. It's like, yeah, the Cardinals, it's an us versus the world kind of season coming up.
And it needs to be. If you want to shock people, you have to have a different viewpoint of yourself than, of course, the consensus out there.
Yeah.
Than the NFL consumers. Like that clip, and maybe we should, Noah, can we play it? I mean, the clip that we're talking about that Johnny said Adam Schefter picked up today, this kind of caught some headlines earlier this week.
How do you feel about Myles Garrett?
Shit, they gotta deal with us. At the end of the day, they got to deal with us.
And it was picked up for all the wrong reasons. Like, when I saw this happen, when Mack Wilson said this in the press conference and I was a few feet away from him, I shied away from even posting this on PHNX_Cardinals because I understood how it was going to be perceived, how it was going to be received, and how it was going to be aggregated to the NFL, social media streets. People are going to utilize it as kind of a way to poke fun of the Cardinals. Like, can you believe what, prominent linebacker of the Arizona Cardinals said about Myles Garrett and the Rams, that they're going to have to go through them, and then they were going to make the Cardinals a punching bag. I wanted to potentially avoid that, but as things happen, it's out of my control. And Bleacher Report picked it up. Several different publications picked it up. And the Cardinals, I don't think a lot of people were buying what Mack Wilson was selling.
Yeah, a lot of slappies picked it up. The usual aggregators on social media and Twitter. And, you watch the clip, and there's no smirk there. There's just hey, I'm a professional. I'm a high-performing player when I'm healthy. These other teams get the headline because they have the culture and they have the quarterback, right? But you think about it, the Cardinals have some of the best players at their position in the NFL. Trey McBride, Josh Sweat, got a bunch of headlines. He's a really good player. Jeremiyah Love, really good player already. Good receiving core, good left tackle. People make fun of the Cardinals right now, yes, because of how much they've lost lately.
Yeah, a lot.
But because of their quarterback situation. That's why they're making fun of them. Fair or not, when Kyler Murray was here the last couple of years, it was the Cardinals, sneaky wild card team. Oh, the Cardinals, look at their record, at the bye. Look at the record when Kyler Murray plays. They were not thought of as kind of an afterthought. Yes, they're in a gauntlet of a division, but it was always Kyler and company, they could beat you on any given Sunday. And they look at their quarterback room now, and I don't want to make this a Jacoby Brissett conversation, but just when you've got a Jacoby Brissett holding out, when you've got a Gardner Minshew who's a backup, taking QB1 reps right now, and then you get Carson Beck, who is not thought of fondly in the media. He was in the NFL scouting department, but the media did not like Carson Beck. People are going to make fun of him.
Right.
And it's unfortunate because, Mack Wilson Sr. didn't like to get made fun of.
Right.
Budda Baker didn't like to get made fun of. Will Johnson. These are all, top-tier prospects, players, accomplished a lot at the collegiate level, the NFL level. And so, I'm sure they're pissed off and they have a chip on their shoulder. And it's Mack Wilson Sr. would start for the Rams. Josh Sweat I don't know now, but would start for the Rams. And now you're getting made fun of on a team that's projected to win 4.5 games. They're not favored in any of them. I'm sure they're upset about it.
Right. And me shying away from posting that, and it's still taken off because, of course it does. I see it in the chat saying, oh, how dare he have self-confidence. I love that he has self-confidence. I didn't want it to become a punchline as far as for the rest of people who consume this team. And the reality is the Cardinals went 0-6 in division last year, right? And they didn't have one close performance outside of the Thursday night game against Seattle that they had to come back to tie that game before getting walked off. Outside of that, it was at least 2 touchdowns different. But 17 was probably the closest margin of loss, defeat to the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers. It's a tough look. It absolutely is. But, if they are going to be this team that is going to shock people, they inside that locker room have to do a good job as far as drowning out the outside noise and then, yes, executing at a level that nobody expected.
Yeah. And again, they've made their bed as a franchise for this season, and no one's going to give them the benefit of the doubt because of how they've operated at quarterback. And it has a ripple-down effect with the rest of the team. I really do believe, Bo, had they got a viable option at quarterback, whatever was available, in March, the people would look at them differently. I think they would still universally be considered the worst team in the division, but they would not be lumped in with the Jets and the Browns and the Dolphins. I think people would say, hey, the Cardinals, if things break right, they could be interesting this year. But people look at, just the optics of how this offseason's been handled, and it's, this Jacoby Brissett thing has just been a dark cloud over the organization, and it's left them vulnerable to kind of really be made fun of. And it's unfortunate because when we were at Mack Wilson Sr.'s charity basketball game, and you saw the camaraderie with this defense in particular, this defense that was robbed of so many guys last year because of injury, and you had a bunch of young players getting acclimated and getting snaps. It's they're a close unit. These are guys that went to Ohio State and Alabama and Oregon. It's perennial national championship contenders. A lot of them won national championships. And they come here and it's just now I'm part of something where we're at the bottom. And it's going to take guys like Mack Wilson Sr. and Will Johnson and these guys to elevate the Cardinals identity and their brand overall. And what's going to be the most difficult, the two biggest hurdles in their way, the competition in the division and whatever the hell they're going to get a quarterback this year. Like if they had a viable option at quarterback or a proven option and they were in a different division, it'd be a completely different talking point.
I mean, it's just the perception of them right now is they don't take the most important position in sports as serious as they should. Right? You know, I mean, you've got a perennial backup holding out, and then as far as the options behind that, as you outlined, from Gardner to Carson Beck, like it or not, that's just how everybody kind of looks into the Cardinals fishbowl as, and how those guys are perceived. You know, it fights back against especially Mack Wilson, and I can appreciate it against the team tank out there. People who believe that this team is just going to lie down in 2026 and try to achieve the highest possible draft pick possible when you have guys, as you mentioned, Mack from Bama, and you have all these Ohio State, alum on your roster, and Notre Dame coming in, and these guys who are used to winning double-digit games and who aren't going to accept week in and week out hanging their head in losing football games. They're just not. Like, Trey McBride did not sign this contract to stick around and get his brains beat in so they can get the best possible quarterback prospect in 2027. And that's where, like, there's a big difference between just the overall viewpoint as far as how the national audience takes the Cardinals, and they think, oh, this is an 0-17 team, to where there's too much talent outside of the quarterback position on this roster and too many guys that care too much to allow that to happen.
They're also in an advantageous position because I'm sure if you've been following this team as long as we have, the Cardinals do not do well with expectations going into a season, right? Like last year, they were projected to win 9+ games, and they had the worst season of franchise history. I think back to like 2018, that team was projected to do some things. Obviously had the first overall pick the following year. And then even like in 2012, people talked about that team coming up, and they had the Kevin Cobb situation. They don't do well with expectations, and the expectations could not be lower for this team. So you are playing, if you're Mike LaFluer, and obviously you don't want to lose games before they start, but you're playing with house money for a little bit. Like Monti Ossenfort, that's a different conversation. We've had that before. But like, it's kind of the us against the world thing here. And people are so down on this team nationally. If you come out, and we talked about it on yesterday's show, if you win 6, 7, 8 games and it looks good and you're competitive and you're impressive, like, people are going to be all in on this team, especially if they steal a game or two, God forbid, in the daunted NFC West. They steal a game early in the season, whether it's the Charger game, the Giant game, the Bronco game. That's when your people are going to start to take notice. And here's the benefit for Cardinal fans, is if you go into this season expecting low production and this team surprises you, that's the easiest way to get people on board. Because by hell or high water, they're going to win this year. It's going to be because of Jeremiyah Love and Trey McBride and Mike and Marv and young players on defense. They're not going to be carried if they win by any of the quarterbacks, as much as I like Carson Beck.
Yeah.
So, this team has a chance to really put themselves in a position where you overachieve this year and you go into next offseason, and it's like, we could be a piece or two away to get right back into this thing.
Well, and the recency bias that is always such a thing as far as the NFL, and people who pontificate on this league, who are analysts and cover it and have platforms, it's a tough thing to get away from. And as far as the Cardinals go, their defense was atrocious down the stretch. Yeah. I mean, historically bad.
Yeah.
Most points that they've surrendered in franchise history, but if they can get the right development, if they can get back on track, it could debunk that and put this team right back in place to be competitive in those games. Because this was a team, before the wheels fell off, they were losing by minuscule deficits for 5 straight games.
Yeah.
They had one of the most brutal, gut-wrenching 5-game losing skids that you could probably find in the history of this league, where they just couldn't close the door offensively, mostly defensively, but they were hanging tight in these contests. Can they get back to that form? As it stands right now, and we get the good news earlier this week about Garrett Williams, and he's trending more towards, participating in training camp, maybe even preseason, and maybe a very, aggressive week one with, Will Johnson, who has been probably the healthiest he's been since being a part of that Natty team in Michigan, where he was one of the best defensive players in the league. And Walter Nolan is trending towards playing, and Starling Thomas is coming back. And they've got Terrell Austin, who's got, is adding to that defensive staff. The defensive line should be coached up differently. Like, the only thing now that you've sustained is your 4th round pick from a small school is not available. Like, I'll take that as a little amount of victory. Like, if you can take all these pieces, all these investments on the defensive end and get back on track, then you could kind of steady the waters as an organization, which is crazy to talk about.
We were big fans, as you guys know, of Jonathan Gannon, but you mentioned all those close losses last year. That's coaching in the NFL.
Sure.
That's what makes a difference in putting yourself in a position to make the right calls late in games. I think back to all the questionable calls that the Cardinals had. Let's just focus on the offensive side. Drew Petzing opting to run the ball out when this team needed to pick up first downs to win the game, right? The calls against Jacksonville in overtime, going deep to, you got Trey McBride, an all-pro underneath, and you go deep to Xavier Weaver in double coverage. Like, the Cardinals lost themselves games beyond just the opponent winning the games. And I think that's where you really have to hope that the upgrades at the defensive side with Terrell Austin coming to help Nick Rallis and the upgrades of position coaches, and then on the flip side, having Mike LaFluer call your plays over Drew Petzing, like that's where it has to come to shine in the fourth quarter, and you steal some of those games that you otherwise didn't win last year. I mean, like the Packers game they blew, the Colts game.
Well, start with the first one, right? I think you can start with the San Francisco game.
Yes,
you're 2-0, and like you're holding on for dear life. Your offense, you
gave up 16 points.
You gave up 16 points. Yeah. New Orleans, the offense was the reason that game was not put away.
Yep.
And then the next week against Carolina, same thing. You go to San Francisco, and what we're hearing right now, Trey McBride said it earlier this week, what he likes so much, like the strength of the Mike LaFluer offense is scheming people open. And it's like you've got an offensive possession to put people away, and you're not having a 50-50 ball with Zay Jones to put that game away, right? You probably have a better offensive performance overall. Yeah. It's not as tight as it is. And then you've got the next week, which is Seattle. You're hopefully not as flat as you were to start that game. And then, of course, the debacle against Tennessee, where that was a disaster class. Had to close out a game that cost them against Tennessee in so many different. That was just a top to bottom, just organizational loss there. But the offense played a key role in that, especially the play calling down the stretch. Was it 3 straight runs with Michael Carter?
The perception of this team nationally, and I think the talent that they have, could not be wider of a gap. But it's up to what's going to happen at quarterback, and then can Mike LaFleur hang? And I honestly think if you can check one of those boxes this year, I think you're in really good shape. And obviously, like if the quarterback play is above average, then Mike LaFleur can hang. So that's kind of like a 2-for-1. But for me, it always felt like the Cardinals were overmatched coaching in the NFC West. Just like what we saw. Like think about like the 2 victories they had in 3 years. The Rams were beat up in week 2 in 2024, and the Niners sat people and had nobody left in the finale in 2024. Like those are the last 2 divisional wins in 3 years. So it starts in the division. I'm glad that Mack Wilson Sr. is speaking up for his teammates. These are pros. These are guys that make 7-8 figures annually and that have a lot of pride in what they do. And here's what I'll say about Mack Wilson Sr. Defense was really good when he played on it, and they did not recover when he left. Obviously, if he misses time this year, that has to be different. But if you play 17 games this year, I think the defense certainly will overachieve based on last year.
Well, you're trending right now. And nothing has told you, like, hey, you can rely upon this consistently. And if you can, might be the difference maker. It's like the 2 players that were the true difference makers were Walter Nolan and Mack Wilson. If they can find a way and they can win that game of attrition, Arizona Cardinals defense should be in a decent spot because I think they've got decent depth. I thought what they did as far as nose tackle was also, decent moves. It should be. It can't be worse. Hopefully, it's not worse than last year.
It cannot be worse than last year. Somebody who may contribute defensively specifically at linebacker and on special teams. Iowa rookie, 6th-rounder Karson Sharar stopped by earlier today to chat it up about Nick Rallis, Mack Wilson Sr., and the Cardinals' experience at minicamp and more. We got the Hawkeye around the corner. It's PHNX. 1AZ Credit Union is here to service you. It's a part of the community, and they're celebrating 75 years of dedicated service here in Arizona. Locally owned, locally trusted. They've got 25 branches here in Arizona, plus a phenomenal online banking app, so you can just access your funds quickly. That's the biggest thing for me. It's just like, how can I get my money when I want to get it? How can I make depositing money easier, transferring funds? They got all that covered and more. 1AZ branches are your one-stop shop for your financial goals and needs, whether it's a one-on-one coaching operation or you can get a document notarized. That's always a pain in the butt. It's like, who can I go who's notarized? How about your 1AZ Credit Union branch? Their friendly associates on their branch scene are there to help you across the state, and for a limited time only, listen to this deal. Open up a new checking account and complete qualifying activities to earn $350 in a bonus. All you got to do is hammer this code right now, CHK-358. That's CHK-358 with 1AZ. Terms and conditions apply. Visit azcu.com for all the details, Bo.
We love stats on our show, right? Touchdowns, completion percentage, interceptions, whatever they mean. Here's some stats I'm going to throw at you that are very important, especially if you've suffered an injury, been in an accident. 10 out of 10. That's the client satisfaction rating for our friends over the husband and wife law team. How about top 1%? That's pretty good, right? Multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. Unreal what they're doing over the husband and wife law team. 100 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And counting, actually. Combined personal injury trial experience. And how about this? 0 fee unless we win. The husband and wife law team, their promise to you, they're lower their fee so you get paid out more. Those are just a few of the stats, and they go on and on as far as the husband and wife law team that are just taking over as far as the law scene here in Arizona. If you've been in an injury, a serious accident, you've suffered an injury, call the husband and wife law team today, 602-783-8841. That's 602-783-8841. Check out husbandandwifelawteam.com. Tell them Bo and Johnny sent you. Did the Arizona Cardinals bolster their linebacking core and special teams with their 6th-round pick? Well, let's ask them. We got our guy Karson Sharar joining us here in studio at PHNX Sports. Subscribe and like this video. Of course, we got Johnny Venerable. I'm Bo Brock. And Karson Sharar, what's going on, my man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
How's your stay been so far in the Valley? I mean, you get drafted at the end of April. Now you're a couple months in. The furnace has been turned on here.
Yeah.
How's it been going?
It's been going well. You know, all the rookies are up in a hotel, and been hanging out with them and get to know all the guys, and yeah, just ready to get going and get to know all the teammates and the coaches. It's been really fun.
Who do they have you rooming with by chance?
I'm with Garrett Williams.
Nice.
Offensive tackle.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's been cool.
What do you think of Nick Rallis, your perception of him so far? He's a linebacker himself. You digging Nick?
Yeah, I love him. I love his style. He's a great coach, and I'm excited to work with him, and I'm really liking his defensive schemes, and we've been doing well together.
You emerged in your final season with the Hawkeyes there on the defensive side of the football, but you made a name for yourself as a special teamer. How is that kind of acclimation process been going? Like talking to a couple of your head coach, talking to Coach Goby a little bit,
Yeah.
and just saying, because there's a stark difference between what you were doing in college and what you're doing at the pro level.
Yep.
I mean, how has that in your eyes been?
Yeah, it's been good. It's definitely an adjustment, but coming in just with open mind and ready to learn whatever I can. And Coach Goby's done a great job of teaching us and just getting the hang of it, all the new things. And the special teams wise, a little different than back in college.
Oh,
a lot more different rules. So just learning that and being able to adjust to that and continue to get better every day.
Bo and I both have family in Iowa. It's near and dear in our heart. I'm a big Kirk Ferentz guy. I actually know George Barnett, the offensive line coach, well there. Let me ask you this. You grew up in Iowa Falls, correct? Yep. Was it always your aspiration of a little guy running around like you wanted to play for the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no pro sports in Iowa, so it was really a dream come true. And that Coach Wallace and Coach Ferentz were staying in touch with me, and then they offered me, and I committed right on the spot. So it was really cool to get that opportunity.
At what stage in your high school career did you commit to Iowa?
It was a couple weeks into senior year right before signing day.
All right. Is there a lot of lore as far as Karson Sharar in the Iowa high school ranks? Because I mean, just digging a little bit as far as your background. I mean, you were a multi-sport athlete. I mean, are you just one of those guys that if we look deeper, like this guy was a stud back then?
Yeah, I went to a pretty small school. We were 2A, so I've stayed busy with playing football, basketball, baseball, track, doing it all. So just had fun, having experiences in different sports, and just had a lot of fun with my teammates, and just grew up competing and having fun playing sports.
Last fall is like Indiana and Fernando Mendoza were kind of getting their mojo. I remember a game in late September when the eventual national champions went to Iowa and played you all, and it was a wire-to-wire game. You guys, I think, held them to 20 points. I mean, like, what do you remember about that game?
Yeah, it was a really cool game because Iowa City is always really jumping for every home game they can get. It's really, really great place to play, and those fans are just amazing, always supporting us. And, just coming in and knowing that Indiana was playing pretty hot, and, we were ready to give them a good game, and thought we almost had them there.
Let me read some statistics from that game because I did some research about. Because I remember watching that game.
Is he being too humble?
Yeah, he's super humble. You're playing inside. You're playing in box. Indiana averaged 2.7 yards per carry that day on the ground. So pretty impressive.
Yeah. No, they're a really solid team, and we prepared really hard that week, and just like every other week, and our coaches did a great job getting us ready, and Coach Parker does a great job scheming it up, and have good scouting wise on them, so we were ready to go.
One of the best traditions in I think all of college athletics is when you guys acknowledge is it the Children's Hospital that's right by the stadium? I think that's fantastic. Is it going from the third to the fourth quarter, or when you guys?
After the first quarter. We do the wave, and they play a song that one of the kid captains that they pick for every game. They get to pick the song, and then they play that song, and we all turn and wave to the hospital. It's pretty dang cool.
I'm going to ask you the fanboy question. I think I would assume you've been asked this probably 10 times already. What's going to happen when you face Jeremiyah Love in the hole come OTAs and training camp? I feel like everybody's going to ask you that.
Yeah, no, he's really impressive being back there. He's really athletic and really looks good back there. And I think, just excited to, get each other better and keep working against each other.
But as we kind of already established, I mean, you played big boy football in the Big Ten. You've seen your fair share of really talented backs going against, guys that look like Tip Ryman, meet you in the C gap. I mean, that's not something you're a stranger to, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, being in the Big Ten, definitely gets you ready to play the physical part of ball, and just really excited to get out there and show what I can do.
Share as much as you can, kind of the inside baseball of like the draft process for you, and then when you kind of got an inkling that maybe Arizona was going to take you.
Yeah, so my agent got me out here to train for the combine, so that was a cool experience, get to know the area a little bit, and then I played in the East-West game in Dallas for a week, so that was another good experience to get more exposure, and then went back out here to train until the combine. So just continue to go throughout that process, just try to continue to train and get ready for the combine, and continue to get better football-wise and on and off the field. So, just really excited to try to get my name called, and just continue to do more interviews through the Zoom process and stuff like that. So it's fun meeting all the new coaches and developing relationships. So, I'm just really grateful to get the opportunity here.
We're going to have the full interview available for you here on PHNX Sports right here on this YouTube channel. But they got to, as Monty always likes to select, one of those RAS darlings. Like when you kind of dig deeper into Sharar, the only thing he's kind of lacking at the linebacking position, experience, but a little bit of size. But you saw him. He looks like he's bulked up a little bit since coming out of college. And at the combine, he's just over 230, probably a little bit heavier than that. This is a guy that ran a 4.56 40. He had a 2.65 20-yard split, 1.59 10-yard split. That's all great. And then you got the agility, you shuttle 4.20, and then a 3-cone, he did a 6.98. All those great as far as RAS goes.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to make his mark, it's going to be on special teams, I think. And I look at like the landscape of where this linebacking group is at this year. And it's like Cody Simon and Mack Wilson Sr. are the presumed starters. And then you've got Jack Gibbons, who was a part-time starter for the AFC champion Patriots. So you figure he's safe. I think Karson Sharar is poised to kind of take over that Owen Pappoe role. Certainly like somebody who's flying around on special teams. Pappoe really had a tough time, especially late last year, trying to fill in a linebacker. You wonder, like, has he kind of hit his ceiling with this franchise? He's in a contract year. And then, like, you just kind of wait and see. That is a position, fair or not, where it's like it translates pretty seamlessly to the NFL. That and running back, they always used to say, like, you can get an off-ball linebacker in the draft at any point, and that's why it was always tough watching Steve Keim take him, top 20. But you look at him, and as you mentioned, like, gamer, played special teams up until last year, and then was a standout on that starting defense. Like, go back and watch him against Indiana when they couldn't do anything for the majority of the game. Like, Mendoza made a couple great throws that game. They escaped with the skin of their teeth. They lose that game.
Yeah.
Do they win the national championship? We'll see. But, like, they shut down everybody last year. They shut down Dante Moore in Oregon. I mean, they gave up 18 points and 20 points and lost both those games. So, I for somebody that I think the Cardinals clearly identified as a late-round kid that could come in and help them, kind of like what they did last year with the safety out in Nevada.
Yeah.
I do appreciate, as critical as I've been of Monti, clearly has an eye for special teamers on day 3.
Well, they better be impactful. Like, they got to have him. Special teams unit, especially from a coverage standpoint, that makes an impact.
Yeah.
And we see what that can do as far as flipping field position and winning that battle. You see the good teams that can weaponize it. Like, if you're going to invest draft picks, no matter where they are, into that position group, like, they better be good. Like, I think just with Joey Blount coming back from injury, and he had a neck injury last year, like, basically wiped out his entire season. He's a guy that they extended. They invested from that standpoint.
Yeah.
They invested a 7th-round pick in Keaton Crawford. They invested a 6th-round pick in Karson Sharar, who is going to be primarily just special teams. And Coach Goby is going to be, this taking over for Jeff Rodgers, who had a tough final season as Cardinal special teams coordinator. Like, they need to be strong as far as the coverage goes. We know when Blake Gillikin's healthy, like, he's one of the better punters in the league.
Yeah.
Can you back him up with strong coverage? I remember in 2024 when this team was actually rolling, the very small window, the Linsanity size window that the Cardinals had. Yeah, where they went into the bye atop the NFC West. They were playing solid in all 3 phases, and it was like Blake Gillikin and Joey Blount were like Shaq and Kobe as far as pinning punts deep. And, like, that's an important part of the game. It's not everything. I'm not going to make it out like it's huge, but it is important.
Yeah. And these are glue guys. These are guys that will fill out the back end of your 53. I mean, I was really impressed with him. I encourage everybody, we're going to drop the full interviews this weekend. On the other side, if you like that one, how about this? Chase Bisontis, the 34th overall pick, large man, poised to start at right guard this year. He joined Bo and I earlier today and teasing a little bit of a Walter Nolan matchup at training camp. That's around the corner. Hit the like. It's PHNX. I want to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and it's the thermostat at my house, Casa Venerable. And my wife likes the temperature a certain amount lower, right, in the low 70s. I'm more of a mid-70s kind of guy. And it's a concern when you're constantly doing the back and forth, right? 72 to 74 to 75 to 71. And I don't know if you know this or not, that can really impact your bill at home. And it has for me. I've seen those crooked numbers with my heating and air. And I'm going to tell you right now, the solution to my problem, on top of asking my wife, I'm going to take the batteries out of the thermostat, budget billing with our friends at APS. When customers sign up for budget billing, your payment for the year is averaged, of course, or across the 12-month calendar year. So you're roughly going to get the same energy bill in the months of June, July, August here in the Valley, scorcher, as you would for December, January, February. It gives you a more predictable payment and helping you plan and save. So if you want to learn more about budget billing and how it can accommodate you and your financial goals and needs, check them out right now at aps.com/let's talk. Check out their smart thermostats too. You can do it on the app. It's fantastic. But again, APS, everything you need, thermostats and more. Check them out right now.
I just want to yell, go for 60 seconds for this live read because
Please
I'm
don't.
so fired up about the World Cup. It's upon us officially. Watch the Canada game today. Got the Team U.S. going on tonight.
Yep.
That's right. Join our friends, Phillies, right? Scottsdale. Get out there. Enjoy yourself. And get some Don Julio 1942 while you're at it. We had it on in the office, of course, the Don Julio was flowing. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just, one of the best times on the sports calendar. Every couple of years it comes around, and let's celebrate. Best way to do that, Don Julio 1942, literally made to be raised. That's right. Hold it up, whatever you may be drinking. Hopefully it's Don Julio 1942, and you get 3 different World Cup-inspired options to choose from this season. How about the original classic icon of celebrations, the trophy edition, built for legends on and off the pitch, and of course the small but iconic moments that turn into unforgettable nights. We've all had many of those, right? From packed stadiums to watch parties, street celebrations all over the valley, make it a Don Julio 1942. Check it out and keep an eye out for the United States men's national team watch parties. It's going down tonight, and make it a Don Julio 1942.
Fired up for this one. It's the 34th overall pick in this year's draft. Newest member of the Cardinals offensive line, Chase Bisontis, joining the show. Chase, what's up, my guy?
How you doing?
Doing well. How you liking the valley thus far?
It's been nice. I like it in the warm weather. Something to get adjusted to, but it's been good, Yeah.
We were talking to your former position coach there from Texas A&M. Was it the Maroon Goons? Was that your squad's name for the offensive line out there? And he made the case that you're the meanest and nastiest dude in this draft class. You agree with that?
Yeah, I would hope he would say that.
Will you be mean to Bo while we're here too? Can you bully Bo while we're here? That'd be great.
Only on the field.
Great stuff, though. I mean, you make your way, obviously, to Texas A&M. Before that, I mean, you're at the New Jersey Power Don Bosco, right? That's where you kind of had your humble beginnings. But, I mean, you were somebody that kind of found your footing as far as football went very early. Can you kind of take us back in those days?
Yeah, I mean, I started playing football in the 7th grade, so kind of later than most. But, I went to Don Bosco, started as a freshman on varsity. Went out to California, played St. John Bosco, big school over there, and then got an offer after that first game to Boston College, and then kind of just blew up ever since then.
Yeah.
So you played tackle originally and then transferred to guard. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, at the time, Jimbo Fisher was the head coach. They got fired, that whole staff, so really just Coach Elko coming in, just talking, and, I love guard now, so, yeah.
So that's what we're going to see you play this fall for the Arizona Cardinals. It's funny, Bo and I were talking. So Justin Fry's made this point before that he tried to get you to go to Ohio State.
Twice. Yeah.
That's too funny. Talk to me about that process.
Yeah, out of high school, he recruited me. I was a 4-star. I really liked it. It's just his coach, his mentor was at A&M, so I thought go to Pops,
Right.
And then Jimbo got fired, and I went in the portal. And he tried to recruit me again, and then I just thought, I'm already here. I might as well just stay there.
Third time's the charm, right?
Yeah, and I got to say, like, the Aggies last year were one of the most fun teams to watch. You guys had a great run last year. Fun style of ball to play. What sets you aside, it makes you so unique as far as this class, and really any class, obviously your combo of size and strength, and then also how nimble you are. Like, what do you think, like, set you up for that type of success? Like, you're a kid that was benching 355 in high school, squatting 555, check me on those stats. It might have been higher than that. But, I mean, how did you stay so light on your feet? How do you have kind of, like, dancer's footwork?
I would say 2 things. Just growing up playing every sport, I played everything, really mainly basketball, so just quick feet there. And then really my first position in football was D-line, D-tackle, D-end.
Nice.
So I would say that it all started there.
You had one of the most impressive combine performances. Like, we're sickies. We go to the combine. We follow this stuff. But, like, people who were, like, casually watching the draft, I remember, and the Cardinals picked you, and they showed your highlights, especially, like, your 3-cone work, your feet in the open field. Like, did you know you were going to crush it that day? How much prep work went into that?
Yeah, I was actually training up here in Paradise Valley for the time being. Just eating right, doing the right things. It's kind of, we call it the underwear Olympics. So just doing that,
I just know Don Bosco, Jersey. Did you ever cross paths with, like, Dylan Harper?
Yeah, we were high school.
The same class?
No, he was a year younger than me, but
okay.
He only did 1 year of college,
Yeah.
So are you rooting for the Spurs?
No, I'm a Knicks fan. All the
You
way.
are a
there
Knicks
you
fan.
go.
Okay,
I got it tatted on my leg.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I know your teammate Elijah Jones is going back for the finals. Was it something you considered?
Too expensive, man.
Next contract.
Yeah, I need to
Second
see you
contract.
on the wood with, like, Timothy Chalamet and Ben Stiller.
Yeah. We'll go together next time.
You're not invited.
All right. Let's talk about, all right, so take me back to the draft, because you were what everybody assumed, like fringe first round guy, top 40 guy. And there was so much like talk around what the Cardinals were going to do because of the Jeremiyah Love factor. When were they going to take a quarterback? We kind of disqualified the idea of taking an offensive lineman early. We went through that draft process and like we were talking about like Francis Maui-Noah early. And then so when they took Jeremiyah Love and Ty Simpson goes, and we started hearing things like, oh, the Cardinals are going to go offensive line. Did you kind of know going into day 2 that the Cardinals were going to be on your radar?
Man, I had no idea.
That's great.
I mean, it got to day 2, and I was a little frustrated after day 1, and that's normal, right? And just clear mind, calm, collected with family. So just relax, enjoying the day. And then they called my phone, so it's a real cool moment, you know.
Isn't it crazy to hear that guy say, I was just, cool, calm, collected, just having a nice, easy day 2 of the draft.
I think he wanted to maul somebody after he fell out of the first round. That's how I feel.
After seeing how some of the other 31 teams drafted, he has a case.
Yeah.
To be pretty pissed off. I mean, he's a bad dude, and he plays with a mean streak, man. Like I love watching Chase Bisontis highlights. I like seeing him on the practice field, as with the entire rookie class. I mean, this is a guy that's getting eased in, but he is like primed and poised to fight for a starting job like as soon as camp kicks off.
Lance Zierlein of NFL.com had him as a first rounder. He's just put it in context. We're gonna have a photo here in a second. He's 6'6", 330 pounds. And then you watch him move. He was one of the best offensive linemen in the country. And there it is. We're going to show the photo now. We don't have it yet. We're going to show the photo now here in a second of myself and Chase Bisontis that we both teased on Twitter, which was very disrespectful. And here's the thing. When I stand next to these professional athletes, they're going to look big because they're pro athletes. He has a chance to be maybe the most impactful rookie the Cardinals have, not named Jeremiyah Love, and I expect him to start right away. Like I like Isaiah Adams. If we had him on the show before, we've had his position coach on the show before, Justin Fry. He loves these guys. They've got great depth now at guard, but like you don't take Bisontis 34th overall and not play him right away.
Would you say he was 6'6", 330?
Right.
And you're checking in at just over.
I'm 5'7" in my shoes.
5'7".
My
sorry.
wife's
okay. In your shoes.
In my shoes, I'm 5'7". There he is with me in the studio. Listen, he's a pro athlete. I love that we play this game. It's like, look at how small Johnny is. All right. It's not like I look small, like walking the street.
Yeah.
But like, he is an enormous man. Here's what's also crazy about him. He's like, what is he, 23 years old? His voice, it's like Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
It's insane. He is already one of the more impressive, imposing people on the team.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Hollywood's going to catch wind of that photo, and that's the reboot of Twins with Danny DeVito.
No,
and,
come on.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. What? I mean, it's just a very imposing guy in a normal size guy.
Thank you. I would alpha Danny DeVito, by the way. Like, you came to our office, like, I may not be the average height, but I'm right there. I'm hanging around. Show that photo one more time, Noah.
You really want us to show it again?
Yeah, because what it should do is it should show more about how big he is compared to me. I mean, like, you posted on Twitter and people are like, oh, Johnny took a picture with Greg Dortch today. And it's like, no, I didn't. Greg Dortch and I are the same size, thanks.
The thing about Chase Bisontis is he's so wide, too, as far as his shoulders when you see him on the field. But he's also, like, he's not, like, your stereotypical, like, just big, round offensive lineman.
He's
like,
not sloppy.
He's not. He looks like a power builder, but he moves so well. Like, he's built kind of like Will Hernandez, less barrel-chested, but, I mean, relative to Will Hernandez, mijo. But he's so agile.
Yeah.
He can move so well. That's what has me excited about him. And you talk about the Jeremiyah Love selection, it only boosts the stock of that. Like the fact that you can get a guy and it could be a potential bully in the run game.
He is probably going to go down as my favorite player in this draft, not named Jeremiyah Love. Because I think you're going to see those two picks pay dividends week 1. And then, like, we talk about this, and this is dropping in the interview later in the show, and later in the weekend. You guys you're hilarious. This weekend.
You said it.
This weekend, we talked to him a little bit about being bookend in the draft by Jeremiyah Love and Carson Beck And
Yeah.
like he goes under the radar in this class. He just does because like of the star power of those two other guys, and that they're going to get all the headlines, and rightfully so. Love's maybe the best player in the draft. Beck plays quarterback. He was a national championship contender. And then you got this kid, and he's probably going to be one of their better players immediately. And you think about it, like, if he hits, and you're able to say, like, okay, Isaac Salamalu, good player.
Yeah.
Yelda, good player. Paris, good to great player. And then he talks about Elijah Wilkinson and being an animal, getting after it in the weight room. We talk a little bit about lifting weights.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this offensive line, like, I don't expect them to look like the unit they were last year.
No, they should be a pretty far departure from that. And you've got a good mix. Like, the Cardinals kept their good players on their offensive line that they had. And there wasn't a lot of them. It was Yelda Froholt, it was Paris Johnson Jr., and they want to develop Isaiah Adams, who's going to go into camp, I think, with a slight edge. I don't know if I would say an edge, a hold on the right guard spot, where you talk about Isaac Seminalo. Paris Johnson Jr. was talking about him and how they're going to be that left tackle, left guard duo on that side of the line. And like, Isaac is a very soft-spoken guy. He just grunts and he just goes about his business. And he's just like, I like this mix, especially with the addition of Chase in that room. And it should be as cohesive, and the camaraderie there with a little bit of continuity mixed in should do this unit well that struggled mightily last season. That was pretty much reserved for strictly passing and that whole drop back game where they can reestablish themselves as what they were before that, one of the better run blocking units in the league, and get that going. It's going to be so important. And like the conversation we were having earlier today to start off the show is like, how can you tap into that underdog mentality? How can you surprise the league? How can you go from being a punchline, afterthought, and a team that is quickly taken seriously, playing a little bit of defense, but also running the football and really kind of winning in the offensive trenches can really help do that.
I like that comment from Jacob. Tip and Wilkinson are a combined right tackle. They're going to have to be. The guard play for the Cardinals last year, I think it gets overlooked maybe because of how bad Jonah Williams was, like how atrocious Jonah Williams was last year. Their guard play was equally as bad. The difference is like those guys were healthy. They just didn't perform. And it was really unfortunate because Evan Brown was really good 2 years ago. And the drop-off of kind of what happened last year, it caught the team off guard. And then Isaiah Adams, who I thought had a really good training camp, just wasn't ready to go. And then you brought back the, aforementioned Will Hernandez, who was not fully recovered.
Wasn't ready to go.
Not in shape. I mean, it lingered. And then the biggest drop-off was, going from Clayton Adams, who is going to be a future head coach in this league, to Justin Frye, who's a good coach but hadn't coached in the NFL yet. It was a perfect storm last year. They're going to be better by default. Number one, they're going to have better players, and they're going to have better coaching because Frye's going to be way better this year. And he got an up-close and personal look at, Chase Bisontis running those drills at the Combine. And we talk about it, Bisontis, being courted by Justin Frye the last couple of years and finally getting a hold of him. That unit is so disrespected because of like the angle of Jeremiyah Love. He's going to have a brick wall to face, just like Ashton Jeanty and the Raiders last year. I will be shocked, and if this unit's not a top 20 unit. I know that's a low bar to clear, but if the Arizona Cardinals are healthy this year, Wilkinson can at least run block. Now, can he pass protect for 3 to 5 seconds? That remains to be seen. They're going to be able to move people up front, much more than last year.
They dropped away too early. Is it just the quarterback class?
The top 5 ESPN quarterbacks for the draft next year. And we're going to go through them.
Let's do it.
Because we're gross.
It's next, PHNX Cardinals.
Such a big part of our community. Hell, you are our community here at PHNX Cardinals, PHNX Sports. Big thank you to everybody who locks in every day with us at 4:30 and beyond. And again, we're pretty confident in the product that we put out there, very proud of it, but we always are looking to improve our shows and better understand how you listen and consume and really what you value the most. That's why we've launched a quick little survey. You can see it with the QR code on the screen. Your feedback is imperative. We go where you go. Talking points, content, wherever. And so do us a favor. It's just going to take a couple minutes. Go to gophnx.com/contest or scan the QR code on the screen and let your voice be heard. Respondents have a chance to win, get this, a $100 Amazon gift card. We appreciate everybody. Do us a favor. Go tell us, hey, this is working great, but this stinks, or we want to see this ahead of the 2026 season. You guys get what you guys want because you drive the show. Do us a favor. Go complete the survey now for a chance to win that Hyundai from Amazon, Bo.
Cardinals have been around forever, haven't won a whole lot. Mountain America Credit Union's been around forever, and they win all the time. That's right, because they place their members of their credit union first. Like, how about this? Their My Style checking account is here with you to get friendly guidance and all the rewarding perks that are built in to the My Style checking account. Of course, you've got certain rates that are going on in Mountain America Credit Union right now. How about this? New used car loans, 60 months, as low as 4.99%, under 5% on a new car or used car. Certificate for 24 months, 4.2% APY. Fixed rate mortgage on 15 years, as low as 5.49%. Things dropping lower and lower near 30 years, 6.25%. All at Mountain America Credit Union. They do it about as well as anybody here in the Valley. And, of course, check into the My Style checking account. Of course, you've got mobile phone protection, restaurant deals, telehealth access, identity protection, even loan rate discounts. Make it your own. Your My Style checking account, macu.com/mystyle to apply. Membership required. Some benefits require activation. Mountain America is insured by the NCUA.
Slop. Eat the QB slop. It's June 12th. So let's talk about the 2027 draft because so many of you sickos want to tank this season.
Yeah, we're talking draft. Meanwhile, Jacoby Brissett back out on the links again today.
You don't say.
According to his own Instagram. Back-to-back days golfing. So
not holding out, though.
He's not?
He's not holding out.
Okay.
Some people here locally think he's actually been
participating.
Well, I mean,
a transition from a hold out to a hold in. Whatever. We're nitpicking. Regardless, he's at a contract stalemate with his organization. Regardless of what you want to call it, it's not good. And just another day, if he's on the links, he can't be negotiating a deal. So we move it to Saturday. Are there office hours on Saturday or Sunday for Monti Ossenfort at this stage in the offseason?
He's not getting a new deal.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Jacoby Brissett, see ya. Let's talk about the reality in which if Carson Beck does not show enough this year, and if they don't get a future franchise quarterback in free agency, I've talked about the options, Mac Jones, maybe a Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, they're going to have to look to the draft. And a lot of it's going to be dependent on where they're picking, the options that are available. You have long had a love affair with the 2027. You're not alone. Quarterback class next year. ESPN, Matt Miller and Jordan Reed. Matt's fine. I really like Jordan Reed. He does a great job. He's come on our show before. Released their top 5 quarterbacks for this draft. And they have the same group.
5, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'd say that'll do it.
That'll do it. 5? If they're 5 first-round caliber prospects.
Well, I mean, they didn't specify. They just did best 5 at each position.
Okay.
But I would say probably these guys are all first-rounders.
Okay. I like those odds.
They both have Arch Manning, top quarterback. No surprise there. Dante Moore, second-best quarterback. And then this is where the list differs. They have differentiating orders. I'm not going to really go through it piece by piece here. They both have C.J. Carr, the 4th best quarterback, Notre Dame signal caller.
Okay.
And then they flip at 3 and 5, respectfully, Drew Mestamaker from Oklahoma State.
Okay.
And then somebody who I like, Darren Mensa, who went to Duke and then transferred. Darian, excuse me.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You weren't even close.
You were like Darren Messiah. Good old Darren Messiah. Great quarterback.
I haven't done a lot of work on these quarterbacks because I don't want to live in this reality. Darren Mensa.
You said it perfectly like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, you did.
And then I had a Michelob. Miami quarterback. He's taking over for Carson Beck. And he got a lot of NIL money.
Yeah.
Not on this list.
As they do.
Yes, not on this list. Sam Levitt, who I really like, and I think he's going to ball out. Sorry, ASU fans. And then, of course, the kid from USC, whose name escapes me, who was excellent at the end of last year. So those 2 more guys.
Yeah.
So I read this list. What do you like? What do you don't like?
Plus, you got the Toolsy Lenore Sellers, who you're not big on. It's key that he puts up numbies at South Carolina.
Future 5th rounder.
Future 5th rounder. We'll see about Lagway as you crack that delicious ice cold Michelob Ultra. Yeah, it's an interesting list. I'm with you. Give me all the Jordan Reed info I can possibly take.
Yes, we like Jordan.
Yeah, I've switched from a 40 to just a 12-ounce Michelob Ultra. Yeah, there you go. Jaden Mayava from USC, who was statistically one of the best quarterbacks in college last year. Couple things. Like when you look at Arch, like it's going to be up. Like Arch has had high expectations each and every season going into the college year, and he hasn't tapped into those outside of his most recent performances. He's going to have to put forth his most consistent performance, and like he can say no to the Cardinals, but he's got to be the top quarterback in the draft in order to do so.
Yeah.
Okay? He's got to create some leverage there, but I still like him as a prospect. Obviously, his tools, he's different than his uncles were, where not only does he have a strong arm, but he's also mobile. He's got it going as far as a run standpoint, and obviously he's got the pedigree. So let's see where Arch is. Him in Texas, they've got to perform this year, and then start and get into the Dante Moore. Like I'm not so like I could see a world where he's a guy that can take off, but if he falls down this list, he's still one of those guys at 6'3". He's got an okay arm. He's mobile enough. Like he's a first-round prospect. And then you start to get into some interesting guys like Mestamaker, who goes from the unknown North Texas, follows his coach to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
He's a guy that didn't even start in high school. That was one of the top passers in the country last year.
Yeah, I'm out on him.
Can he do it in the Big 12? I'd love to see it. He's very mechanical as far as how he throws. Like it looks like you just taught him how to throw a football, but he's good. He puts it on a line. He's got enough touch on it. He can make most of the throws. It'd be interesting to see how he plays a bit against better competition than North Texas was playing last year, who had a great year. I think they only had one loss.
UAB to the LA Rams, I think there's a steep drop-off there. Playing UAB and Rice and Temple. Those are the teams
Well, we'll
he played
see how he
last year.
does against, Texas Tech
I don't think
ASU and the rest of the he's going to play better competition this year.
For me, he would have to be unbelievable. I look at like Trinidad Chambliss isn't on this list. He's going to be an option. And then,
but he's 5'10", 6 feet.
He is. That's fine. Okay. But I like if the Cardinals are picking like 7 to 12, and some of these guys are not going to work out. Sorry to say, I'm going to tell everybody right now: get your Valentines, rip them up, because some of these guys are going to bust. Garrett Nussmeier this time last year was a top 10 pick. I mean, where the hell Garrett Nussmeier almost went undrafted. Yep. Okay, Drew Aller was supposed to be a big-time quarterback. He can't play. His footwork's terrible. So we always do this thing where we have a love affair with these guys. So I'm going to take Dante Moore's a top 10 quarterback. No issue with that.
Okay.
Arch Mann's a top 10 quarterback.
Okay.
The rest of these guys, check back in around Thanksgiving whether or not these guys can play. I think a couple of them, listen, I like Sam Leavitt. I think Sam Leavitt's going to ball out at LSU. He's a toolsy guy that you like, that we've watched play big-time football. He had a down year for ASU, and he's going to do the Jaden Daniels, where he has a rehabilitation of his image, and he's going to ball out in the SEC. The rest of these guys, Card to me, he had under 3,000 yards passing. He's a senior. Is his game going to translate to the NFL level? Mensah,
no, he's young. Isn't Carr young?
I thought he was a senior last year.
No,
CJ Carr?
He was super young.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, he was a freshman. Who am I thinking of?
How is he even eligible? Is he a redshirt freshman?
He must have been.
He's got to be. So he's a third-year sophomore. Reese and Levitt's mid. Lane Kiffin has a pretty good track record, especially within the last couple of years to develop quarterbacks. He's a little the thing about Levitt. He's under 6'2", but he's mobile. That was the whole thing against the knock against Ty Simpson is he was under 6'2", but he wasn't mobile. I think that's where Levitt, with a little bit stronger arm, can he kind of develop the touch necessary as far as the passing game?
You know who's now on this list that I saw got brought up in the chat? Your boy Sorsby. Where does Brendan Sorsby fall? Seriously though, because if they do the shtick where he's hey, his hearing's in February, he's gonna be long gone from the college game in February. I think there's a chance based on if he plays well, his measurables are very comparable to these players. Mm-hmm. So let's see how he does. But huge red flag there. There are two sure things right now. Because I think Dante Moore eventually will be a good NFL quarterback. I don't know if he'll ever be great, and his arm needs to get better. I didn't like his arm strength at the end of the year. I was on the record. I thought Ty Simpson had a stronger arm, but he has better physical traits.
Yeah.
He did not look good in the playoff, but I just by default, nobody goes back to Oregon and gets worse. And then Arch Manning was, in my opinion, the best player in college football playing quarterback at the end of the year. He was fantastic in that bowl game. Those are the two sure things.
Yeah.
You got to have one of the first 2 picks to get those guys. I mean, if you're slumming, I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be between 7 to 12. If you're slumming outside the top 10, you're rolling the dice on somebody, just like the J.J. McCarthy's and the Bo Nicks of the world. In this class, when you're not going to have the draft capital, the Miamis and the Clevelands and the Jets, you're just going to have to take what's available. So
yeah,
we all need to be rooting like we are for Carson Beck to work out.
No doubt about it. And those saying, hey, did Carson Beck die? We haven't forgotten about Carson Beck, but he's at 65th overall. He's not a set it and forget it.
It's not a
type
guarantee.
guy. Right. You're not putting the ring on it just yet. I mean, let's court each other first and foremost. Let's date. Let's just see how this thing goes before we start saying, hey, Carson Beck now
let's play a preseason
and beyond.
game.
Yeah, exactly. So we can be excited about Carson Beck, but also be realistic about, hey, let's keep an eye forward as far as the 27 class, and it gets me juiced. I am a 27 class truther.
You are.
I'm going to be there until if there's 1,000 people who are in on the 27 class, I'm one of them. If there's one, then it's me, and if there's nobody, I'm dead. That's it. I'm all about the 27 class, and so is our guy picking spreads, Donnie. He knows ball.
That's
I'm with
cute.
him. It's not cute.
You
Don't
do a
discount
podcast.
Donnie and picking
do
spreads.
a podcast together.
Ball
That's cute.
knowledge.
I'm trying to win this year. You know what? We had Chase Bisontis, Carson with us earlier. You know what? The last thing I said to him, let's kick ass this year. Let's win some games. And they said, hell yeah, brother, you're one of us. And I walked him out.
And they picked you up, put you on,
swung me around.
Tousled your hair.
You know what?
He treated you like a young fan at a game.
Sure, little guy. Good job. I mean, Chase Bisontis talks about Carson Beck in the full interview we're dropping this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's just all hope and pray that he's an alpha and that he's going to be the starting quarterback of this team. Because I'm looking at this right now. It's a little bit more muddled than people think.
Okay.
There's some Drew Allers and some Nussmeyers in here.
Stop that.
Yes, there are.
No, I mean, Nussmeier is you take away, he has a very, easy kryptonite to find. He's not big. He's 6'1", and you take away his ability to stay healthy and consistent, and you start to see the flaws in his game, right? But if you've got these guys that are going to be very experienced at the collegiate level.
That's true.
You're going to have a lot of tape, and you got guys that have tools, traits, measurables that you want. Let's do our own real quick, okay? I think you and I are both on the same page. We'll put Arch Deluxe #1 right now, okay?
I want to pull up everybody. Hang on. All right, go ahead.
I think we put Arch Manning
easily number 1. If I had my choice, it would be Arch. If you could convince the Manning family to co-op with the Bidwill family and everything's copacetic there, that's the best case scenario. I still think that situation, if they were to have the worst season in the NFL, I think that situation could get ugly. And I don't want that reality for Cardinal fans. I don't want to have the first overall pick, and I don't want to have Arch Manning say no to this franchise. But he's the best player.
If he just plays well, and Texas is a contender like they should be, but they could always slip up. He has to make the case to be #1. This is the type of class where he could get jumped.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's very possible.
No chance.
I do think it's possible.
Okay.
I mean,
we disagree.
Nothing is a lock with Arch.
I mean,
I like him a lot.
If Dante Moore wins the national championship with Oregon and has insane numbers,
his trades are not Arch's trades. Arch's arm is way better, and fair or not, and you have to go off of this. The lineage of the Manning name carries something in the NFL.
Sure.
And
everybody be like Manning and Harrison, and we've made this case. Somebody made the brilliant point of we don't know if the Harrison family would give this team, their blessing.
No, you wouldn't. Marvin Harrison Sr. would be like, no, threaten to go back to school. All right, Arch Manning #1, Dante Moore #2 for both of us. #3 for you.
But I don't think Dante Moore. I'm not sharpieing him in. Yeah, I mean, I like the measurables and I like some of the tools.
He would have gone to the Jets this year, second
He's
overall.
He's gonna be one of those battle tested guys. He's gonna have 2 years in a very competitive Big Ten and should be playing meaningful football in the CFP, but that remains to be seen. And then 3, that's where it starts to get muddled. I didn't like these guys' lists personally. I think Mensa's going to get a big boost playing at Miami.
Yep, agreed.
And I mean, what is his big knock? Is his height? Is he 6'1" and some change?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah.
But he's mobile. Let's go with Mensa 3.
He won me 4 national championships in CFB 25.
Okay. And then I would go Levitt.
3-4.
Yeah.
It's my exact same order.
Yeah.
And then I would have Mavia
Okay.
5th from USC. Big kid, like thick, like can take a hit.
Thick
guy, thick upper body, right? Makes big time throws downfield. His bowl game was strong. The rest of these guys, like, I'm anti Lenora Sellers. You guys are on your own with that. I will be wrong if he ends up being good. Sayin from Ohio State's fine.
Yeah.
The kid from Baylor, Lagway, these transfer guys. I mean, they're going to be guys that emerge that we're not even talking about.
Yeah, there's going to be Mendoza's, like where you're talking, Mendoza from Cal going to Indiana, okay.
But our big 5 is exactly the same. Because we thought Mavia and Mensa should have declared this year.
Mayava teaches guys.
Mayava, excuse me, and Mensa should have declared this year. Had Sam Levitt played well, could have declared this year. Those 3 guys with Arch and Dante Moore, the Cardinals would be fortunate to get any of those 5. But again, Mensa or Mavia could be bad this year.
Yeah.
It may not work out. So, but there are a lot of guys that we know. Whereas like this past year, we knew kind of a Dante Moore. You knew about Arch, but he went back to school. We didn't know Fernando Mendoza. Ty Simpson was the trendy guy and then obviously fell off because of his play late in the year. This quarterback class is very similar. I'm not saying in terms of the quality. We knew Drake May. We knew Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
We knew these quarterbacks going into that draft. So we're gonna talk a lot about them.
Yeah.
Until Carson Beck. Can Carson Beck just rip off like a 4-game winning streak and we can be like, we're good. It's like that Colin Cowherd clip. Hey, LeBron, we got Ben Simmons. We're good. Hey, Arch Manning, we got Carson Beck. We're good.
Let's have a good showing for the Cardinals rookie class that joined us today. Chase Bisontis, Karson Sharar. Hit that like button. Get us up over 250. No, let's go 300 likes on this. Let's get there quickly. Nearly that many in the watching live. Let's get to some super chats here, Noah. Would we?
Noah's going to read him today like a big boy.
Wow. We're kicking it off here with Desert Vulture gifting 5 PHNX Sports memberships.
Membies.
Doing as he does. Building this community on a daily basis. Doing way more than Noah does for this show as far as
so true.
Building this community.
That's so true.
I did see somebody in the chat say, hey, my wish is for you guys to take it easy on Noah. And it's like, you say that, you're not in the office every day with him.
You don't have to see his face. Desert Vulture. Go ahead, the next one. Noah's a handsome guy.
Follows it up. He goes, Chase can get some pancakes this season. Let's go, fans. Fired up.
He's going to get some pancakes this season. He's no doubt about it going to take out some poor defensive back that's going to get in his way. But more importantly, take down some defensive line play from the NFC West.
He's scary.
Mm-hmm.
He's a scary guy in the best way.
Anthony Brown, 199, says, can't tell JV and Chase apart. 2 alphas,
Yeah.
LOL.
We said that on air, yeah. We talked about that. The fact that, like, we brought up Cooper DeJean. He's an alpha. Me, Chase, and then Bo's a facilitator here. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Beta Bo. We got Rome, 23.
Rome with the $1.99. I think we go with Beck next year and draft the best D lineman.
You'd love to be able to do that. I mean, when Albert Breer was making his case for the Cardinals to be one of the teams in on Sorsby in the supplemental, he said, like, if you hit there, but you can make the same case for Beck. If you hit, then you're going to be able to put yourself in a position for this upcoming draft to really pivot in a different direction. And, like, there is going to be a lot of teams, and on the quarterback class, can you probably going to Jeremiyah Smith is going to be too high. I mean, I don't know if you need to go. You hopefully don't have to
Nah.
go wide receiver, but
No.
yeah, you could play edge. You could play defensive line. There's a lot of talented players at that position.
Carson Beck hitting for this franchise would be a historic move because we've talked about it. Not to get off a tangent here. We expect Jeremiyah Love to be good. We expect that man that sit to your right earlier today, Chase Bisontis, to be good. And then if Beck can play, I mean, the rest of the draft class, you leave it up for grabs. Like that's an all-time draft for this team. Like if you get Carson Beck, Bisontis, and Jeremiyah Love starting for you later this year, and they're all good, and they're all trending up, that saves Monty's job. Mike LaFleur set for life. But, I mean, it's a big ask. Rookie quarterbacks, typically late rounders or mid to late rounders, don't typically have success.
5 spot from Reese goes Moore or Manning is the only option for a quarterback. Otherwise, stick with Beck if we win too many games.
I love that mindset. I would love for them to exit this year and for Mike LaFleur to sit at the podium in January and say, we have found our franchise quarterback, and his name's Carson Beck. That would be the best case scenario for this team.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it would be dependent on where they were picking.
Yeah. Picking spreads, $5. As big of a draft guy, I feel going into the summer about the 27 QB class than I did for the 26 class. Arch, Dante, Sorsby, Lenoris, etc. I'm all in.
I like it.
Can I just say one thing about Lenoris Sellers? This is like, I get it. Traits matter. Traits definitely matter. Does anybody want to guess? He's 20 years old.
Coaching matters too.
6'4", 240. Okay, let me just read you some statistics last year. And I'm not sure how many games he played. I think did he play a lot of games? Hang on, I need to read this because I feel like I'm on an island. He played a lot.
Yeah.
And of what equated to about a full season, he threw 13 touchdowns and had 8 interceptions. He threw for 2,400 yards passing.
Yeah.
And he had 60% completion percentage. And the year before that, he had 18 touchdowns and 17 picks, 2,500 yards passing. This is a guy who's never thrown 20 touchdowns in a season or 3,000 yards passing. You're going to take that guy in the top 10? I mean,
he's going to have to make a big jump. No doubt about it. And we've seen that at the college level. You see guys who have pedestrian season, then something clicks. He's going to have one of those click seasons, no doubt about it. But he's built like Dante Culpepper. He's got the traits, but he's going to have to be productive. I agree.
There's too much Drew Aller, Anthony Richardson for me right now. No thanks.
Yeah, right now I'm not saying don't put the pick in right now.
DLAZ, $2. Can we get Peyton Manning as a minority owner?
It'd be unbelievable. Here's the thing about the Cardinals. If they got Arch Manning, the spotlight would be on them in a good way and a not so good way, because it would force them to really keep their act together 365 days. You couldn't hide from that.
Right.
Like, I don't even know, like, I'm sure Michael Bidwill would want Arch Manning, but like the expectations of your franchise would grow astronomically.
Yeah.
Like, look at the Bengals right now with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
It's like he puts them on blast every offseason. It's like, we better do this. We got to do this. Arch Manning, I think it would be cranked up to 100.
Oh, yeah, because Joe Burrow doesn't come from football royalty. Arch does. Like, you got the Manning cast. You've got, Omaha Productions. You got Eli Manning, feet on the wood at the Knicks game. Beloved. It took won 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. And then Archie Manning, who was so respected in the game as his grandfather. Like, you have to be buttoned up or they're going to make sure that they aren't, lumped in with this organization if it's misbehaving.
But here's the thing for Arch to consider. I mean, whether it's the Cardinals, it's going to be a bad team. Jets, Browns.
Yeah.
It's going to be teams that haven't had success. And
the Colts weren't very successful.
No, I was just about to say that.
Before Peyton went in there. They were bad. I remember like Jim Morris Sr., like playoffs?
Yeah, they were really bad.
Yeah.
Dave H., very generous $10, says, to me, we essentially entered a rebuild the second Monty moved on from K1. Of course, we want to win this year, but until we have a franchise quarterback, we are stuck dealing with QB2 drama.
Yeah, they put themselves in this position, no doubt about it. Like, if they had signed you and I were texting, like, Tua's had some nice highlights during OTAs and minicamp.
Mm-hmm.
If they had signed Tua, he would have been their starter for this year, and we wouldn't have all this other garbage. So, like, they can't put themselves in a position. They can have quarterback questions like who's the guy long term.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go through another one of these. Who's going to be your starter week 1? You need to put that to bed next offseason, earlier next offseason.
It was such a disaster, though, for the Cardinals in 25 to where they were a lot closer to the Falcons than people would believe.
Sure.
But because of how poorly and how many games they lost due to bad coaching and then how things got so lopsided in a lot of these games, like they were viewed as differently than in Atlanta. And like that's the thing, like Tua is going to make Kyler money, like $1.3 million, like the minimum. And if he probably wouldn't even have entertained the Cardinals over the Falcons just because of how they were viewed. They were further down the line in their rebuild, where it's unfortunate for the Cardinals. It was such a catastrophic 2025 season.
Yep.
Picking spreads, $2. My top 5: 1 Arch, 2 Dante, 3 Sorsby, 4 Sellers, 5 Drew M.
Wow, a very diverse 3, 4, and 5 there. And listen, that's why they play the game. We got to see how it plays out this fall.
Those are such wild cards.
Sorsby is a gambling addict that may or may not play this year.
Yeah, we don't know like if they're gonna have to go with more litigation as far as Texas Tech and teams, opting not to play them and all that in the conference, and it's just a complete mess. And he's already gonna miss the first 2 games of the season. We'll see how that plays out. But then you got like Mestamaker making the jump from North Texas. Can he hang? And then you've got who else do you have? He had Sellers in there. Like those are such boom bust. All 3 of those guys.
The last 3 guys on that list could be day 3 picks. Let's just be real. They could be top 10 picks. They could be day 3 picks, or not declare at all. That kid at Oklahoma State, I think it would behoove him to play at least 2 years at Oklahoma State. So we'll see. Hit that like button. You guys were unbelievable today. A reminder: the full interviews drop this weekend on the YouTube page here. Go PHNX.com, and of course PHNX Sports here on YouTube. So subscribe. I promise there's so much meat left on the bone of those interviews you're not going to want to miss. It's been a banner week, my guys. So much good content, and the content continues next week.
Yeah, can't wait. Cardinals might be in the offseason, but rookies still in the building. We might get to hear from some more of them next week. So make sure you're locked into at PHNX_Cardinals. Follow me at Bo Brock, at Johnny Venerable. And, of course, on Instagram, a lot of fun stuff we did with Chase Bisontis and Karson Sharar. It'll be dropping there, so make sure you're following along. Man, fun day here at PHNX Studios. Join, if you don't have any plans tonight, in less than 10 minutes, the World Cup watch party with our friends in Scottsdale at Phillies. United States men's national team about to kick off. Is that the right
I don't know the rules of soccer
lingo? Kickoff?
I like watching it, but I'm not sure exactly what's happening.
They're going to hit the pitch, and they're going to do that soccer. So go check it out with our friends here at PHNX Sports. See you guys in the exclusive member Discord. Become a diehard today to get access. But otherwise, in the meantime, check out PHNX Sports here on YouTube and subscribe for more great content. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday, 4:30, PHNX Cards.
We all silly like the mayor.